Hey, everybody, it's Dr. Richard Isaacson, and I'm here with my old friend, colleague, old pal.
Max Lugavere.
We are doing on Wednesday, June 25th at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, and the other time zones in between. We are doing a live Q&A. It's the first time we've done something like this. And we'll start off, let's see, two questions on nutrition, one about genetics, which I think is key. You and I have been talking about this a long time, and then one about research. So let's talk about this is a good question. What are the three best foods or supplements to eat or take for brain health?
So for one, I'm going to pick avocados. I've always said that avocados are the brain healthiest fruit. I know we can
Interesting.
debate avocados versus berries, right? Because berries are more traditionally thought of as the brain healthiest fruit, but avocados are in fact a fruit and an abundant source of fats that are beneficial to the cardiovascular system. What's good for the heart is good for the brain. Loaded with fiber, potassium for maintaining healthy blood pressure, actually twice the potassium of a banana. And we know that, maintaining a healthy blood pressure is crucial for dementia prevention. And then importantly, I think that in my first book, I really broke the news on the benefits of lutein and zeaxanthin for brain health. And avocados are loaded with lutein and zeaxanthin, which are plant pigments that accumulate in the eye and the brain. And there's a lot of good data on the benefits of those two compounds. So avocados, I'm going to say, are an all-in-one brain food.
I'm going to piggyback that with something kind of close, olive oil. Olive oil to me is like liquid gold. There was a guy who I see, he's 37 years old. I said to him, now you're young, okay, you're healthy, okay. You have the lowest p-tau 217 in 200 and something people that we've tested from age 21 to 91. And I said, what do you think it is? And he picked up a bottle of olive oil. It's like, I don't know, like 6 months ago, I started drinking olive oil. You said take shots of olive oil, Dr. Isaacson, and that's what I started doing. So he takes 2 shots of olive oil. He sometimes like literally drinks it right from the bottle. And I'm not 100% sure that that's what it is, but a lot of research shows that olive oil actually cuts down tau protein. And tau is this bad protein that builds up in the brain of a person with Alzheimer's disease. So it's monounsaturated fats, which are healthy fats. There's good fats and bad fats. Got to know the difference. And there's a lot of overlap with avocado and olive oil, and I think I'll choose olive oil because of its anti-tau properties and its beneficial effects on cholesterol properties too.
I like that. I like that. All right. So my second food, I'm going to pick an unconventional food, I suppose. I'm going to pick eggs. I think eggs are a brain food.
Okay.
Now, obviously, there are certain people who hyperabsorb dietary cholesterol, but for the majority of people, I think that eggs are a wonderful food. They've got a little bit of everything required to grow a healthy brain. They're the top dietary source of choline. Actually, the number one source of dietary choline would be beef liver, but very few people enjoy eating beef liver. Eggs are the second most abundant source, and 90% of adults actually today don't meet the adequate intake for choline. There was an observational study that found that egg consumers had about a 50% risk reduction for Alzheimer's disease. Now, I'm not going to put too much stock in that. That was a correlational study, and it was a pretty robust finding. But nonetheless, I mean, there really is very little downside unless you're a hyperabsorber of dietary cholesterol to eating eggs regularly. And so that's going to be my number two pick.
That's a great pick. Protein, choline, agree. I'm going to go rogue a little bit, and I'm going to say fresh foods or whole foods. And I know the question was the three best foods or supplements. So I'm going to interpret that in my own way. The foods that I would recommend are not processed foods. When you go to the supermarket, like people say you should eat around the sides, right? So we like going around the sides and not eating packaged processed foods. Okay, last one. You want to each do a supplement? So we did food.
Yeah,
If you had to choose one supplement, what would your supplement be the best one for brain health?
I would say creatine. There was a pilot study, it didn't have a placebo group, very N of 20, but nonetheless, there was a signal that creatine helped to improve pretty much every cognitive marker assessed. And we know that creatine has a long safety record, a long efficacy record for supporting physical performance. And now there's a growing body of literature suggesting it might also boost brain health and mental health too. So I'm going to pick that with the caveat that more research is needed.
I would say my supplement of choice, if I have to choose one, even though I want to choose two, is omega-3 fatty acids. And omega-3 fatty acid supplements, if you can't eat a sufficient amount of fatty fish, especially if you have one copy of the ApoE4 variant, you can attenuate or reduce or protect against some of that risk by having sufficient amounts of omega-3, the brain healthy fats. PUFA is polyunsaturated fat, like olive oil is monounsaturated fat, and PUFA is polyunsaturated fat are omega-3 fatty acids. If you can't eat enough fatty fish like lake trout, mackerel, herring, albacore tuna, wild salmon, sardines, and you got to balance with that, not eating too much fish with the mercury and all these sorts of things. Omega-3 fatty acids to me are my number one, specifically in people with one or more copies of the ApoE4 variant. 25% of the population has this gene. About 50 to 60% at least of the people that I see have the gene because it's overrepresented in the people that come see me. So I would say omega-3s. Also looking at the label, DHA and EPA is really the key, and you have to get sufficient amounts. And I like omega-3 fatty acids.
I kind of knew that you were going to say that, and so that I wanted to leave that for you. Yeah.
Max, thank you. I appreciate that. Someone asked me, we want to know what the other supplement is. So for me, B-complex vitamins in the setting of a person that has high or elevated homocysteine, which is a amino acid, the protein in the blood. So B-complex vitamins does not prevent Alzheimer's or whatever, just randomly in random people. But if a person has elevated homocysteine in the blood, then they can slow shrinkage of the brain and maybe boost memory a little bit using a specific combination of B-complex vitamins. Dr. David Smith, who, Helga Refsum, who you and I know and met over a decade ago or more, 12 years ago, did some amazing work with the Vitacog studies. So B12, folic acid, and a tiny little bit, 20 milligrams of B6, not too much of that, can have beneficial brain effects in those people with elevated blood levels of homocysteine, but not everyone, which is why supplements should be personalized, individualized, and, as they say, talk to your doctor. This is not medical advice.